Welcome to another episode of the Religion Law Podcast, where you learn about religious freedom and other religion law related topics through a short question and answer format. I'm your host, Michael Fielding. Let's see how you do on today's quiz. Welcome to Religion Law Quiz number 68, numero 68. All right. Religion Law Quiz number 67 dealt with hate crimes. I realize that's a downer. Can be depressing when we think about that. So we're going to rebound, go to the opposite end of the spectrum here today and be very positive and upbeat. So let's see how you do on our quiz. Regardless of a person's belief, whether they are religious or not, most people recognize the need to help the poor and needy. There are many wonderful organizations that strive to do this in different ways. In the legal profession, that takes the form of pro bono assistance. And if anybody's wondering what the word pro bono means, I don't know the exact Latin translation for it, but the substantive layman's term is free. So whenever you hear the word pro bono, you can realize they're doing it for free without compensation. And so the question for you is, how many different groups in our area can you identify that assist with pro bono work? And the question is a great one to think about. And so I'm going to pause here, think about it wherever you live. How many different groups are you aware of that do pro bono legal services? What do you think? All right. Well, like I said, in Religion Law Quiz 67, here in the Kansas City area, it's the epicenter of the Religion Law Quiz podcast. So we're going to focus on the list here in Kansas City. And I'll read the names of the organizations here in a minute. But as I read them, I think two things will stand out. Number one, I think you're going to be surprised at how many different groups there are, which is really encouraging. And then number two, if you live outside of the Kansas City metro area, I would really encourage you to do a few internet searches and find out what organizations are in your area that do pro bono legal work. And the reason I'd encourage you to do that is because you will, frankly, I think, be a little bit surprised at how many different groups and organizations are out there. And then also it's really neat to see that these different groups and organizations, they tend to specialize in different areas or different types of legal needs, so that when you come across somebody that is in need of that help, you can refer them to the right group. So the list I have here, I'll put it in the show notes. And here's what it is. So here in the KC area, there is Legal Aid of Western Missouri, Kansas Legal Services. The American Bar Association has free legal answers. The Kansas Bar Association has a Call a Lawyer night. A lot of jokes could be said about that one. We'll just pass on the jokes. That's good that the Kansas Bar Association has the Call a Lawyer night. You have the Midwest Innocence Project, Miracle of Innocence, the MacArthur Justice Center, the UMKC Entrepreneurial Legal Services Clinic and Intellectual Property Clinic, the University of Missouri School of Law Veterans Clinic, the KCMBA, so that's Kansas City Metropolitan Bar Association, Military Matters. You have Kansas Appleseed. You have the Center for Conflict Resolution, the Help KC, Catholic Charities, NEKS at Northeast Kansas, La Luz Center. And if you're still looking for help, there is KC Common Goods Community Connector. And that is a portal that consolidates information about critical community services to help citizens in the area find local area services. So again, I'll have this list in the show notes. This list was actually compiled by Margaret Richards, who is the director of pro bono services at the Hush Blackwell law firm. And the question then again is, what are the key takeaways here? Well, obviously I've gone through these various groups really quickly. And again, I'll have the specific groups and what they do in the show notes. But at the heart of living one's religion, and this is probably true for every faith around, or virtually every major faith, there is this recognition of the need to help the poor and needy. And pro bono work is one facet where you have people of different faiths coming together to really take their talents and abilities in a particular area and then serve individuals that need help in that area. And we salute them for that. We applaud them for that. And when we can support them in whatever way, it's a really good thing to do. So, all right. Well, that does it for today's religion law quiz. I would encourage you to think about pro bono service that you could do, even if you're not an attorney. Think about the service that you can render to help lighten another person's load. We all have heavy burdens that we carry, and I think that's part of the human experience, is learning to help shoulder the burdens of one another as we travail through some of the difficulties of life. All right. Thanks for joining. I look forward to having you on the next Religion Law Quiz. Thank you for listening to today's episode. Remember, religion law quizzes are for educational purposes only and are not intended to be relied upon as legal advice. If you have found this episode to be helpful, please share it and leave a review. Until we meet again, keep being an influence for good.